of the Inferno, hearken to our plea. Lord of the Inferno, deliver us from our misery. O mighty Ifrit, Lord of the Inferno, your humble servants beseech you, grace us with your divine presence. O mighty Ifrit, bring you before you ignorant savages who know not your Godhead. To please you, Lord, scorch their heathen souls with your cleansing flame, and mark them as your own. But bloody hells! Bring those to us. Ugh. What's going on? This ain't what we agreed. None but servants of Lord Ifrit may behold the rite of summoning. The souls of unbelievers are forfeit. No! Spare me, I beg you! Pitiful children of mine! By my breath, I claim you! I'll rise once more as my loyal minions. Feed my flames with your faith, and all who stand against us shall burn! Oh, mighty Ifrit, my one true God. Your words are my bread. Impossible. By what sorcery do you resist my master's will? Could it be? Your soul already belongs to another. Yes, that is the only explanation. Forsooth, that frail mortal flame can serve as a vessel to the blessing of but one. Yet I smell not the taint of another upon thee. The truth of thine allegiance waxeth clear. Thou art of the godless blessed number. The paragons warned of thine abhorrent kind. Thine existence is not to be suffered. Flame shall consume thy flesh and soul. Such sweltering heat. Succumb to the Inferno. Surrender thyself to the fires of judgment. Thou shalt burn for eternity. Strong. Pray, forgive my lateness. I was delayed by a congregation of acknowledged zealots. I swear, you seem more evangelical than the last. Resistant what? I see the blood sworn wasted no time in extracting the captives. No less than I expect from this Flame General's handpicked. For those two, it's fair to say that hardships have only just begun. Much to answer for. I feel I owe you an apology, Rathima. Had I known this mission would prove so dangerous, I would never have left you to face it alone. You have been given a veritable baptism of fire. Let us continue this conversation in more agreeable surrounds. Captain Reborn, shall I say? That's right, sir. So that was the mighty Ifrit. What a disappointment he was. The readings are nowhere near what I'd anticipated, even taking the dawn interference into account. You should know better than to rely upon 5-year-old data left by the 7th Legion. Nor can we expect any form of support from the motherland, given the troubles at court. We only have ourselves to rely upon. Ever the pessimist, my dear Olivia. Promise me you'll never change. We've wasted enough time here. That meter of yours is too old to give any reading worth a damn. Not that there was aught too worth a damn for it to read. But I take your point. Suppose we must content ourselves with the knowledge what we've achieved our primary objective. Yet I am troubled by the adventurer's unexpected show of strength. Could such a foe prove a hindrance to our plans? Perhaps. That is a consideration for another time. You have been given a task. That is a priority. I suggest you treat it as such. Fail to do as my lord commands, and I will spare him the trouble of punishing you. With allies like that, beware a woman in love. She'll need to be on my best behavior. There you are. Come, rest a while. You will have no better opportunity. Now, where were we? Yes, I was in the process of apologizing. I do hope you can forgive me. Arrived too late to be any use. To you or them, ladies. And we have a whole body that cannot be said in their minds. Once a man is tempered, it still suits me to dwell in negatives. Amidst all of our misfortunes, there is still good reason to rejoice. For you slain and by your hand. That is indeed no ordinary individual. Not that I ever thought you were. On the contrary, I've long suspected that you may have the potential to shape the fate of this realm. What can I say? I find Ifrit reigns undimmed. Mephilia must be proud beyond all reckoning when she hears of your deeds. I trust you shan't object to my bearing your tidings to her. That way I can claim to have contributed something to this mission. You meanwhile earn yourself a rest. Take some time to relax, and return to the waking sands when you're good and ready. We can discuss matters in more detail then. This won't take too long, will you? Realm's problems won't solve themselves. The triumphant hero returns. Tancred returns, told us of the news upon his arrival. He's presently in the Solar, giving a full report to Lady Mephilia. She joined them at once. Lady Mephilia is most eager to see you. My late arrival nearly cost Rathima her life. I wasn't there when the Amalja took her prisoner. I wasn't there when they served her to Ifrit. Yes, by some miracle she survived, but that does not excuse the fact that she should never have had to face such dangers alone. I failed her utterly, just as I'm failing you all. What's done is done, Tancred. You can blame yourself for every... Rathima, it's so good to see you again. Impeccable timing, my friend. I just finished regaling Mephilia with your heroic exploits. Tancred has told me everything. You have done well to return to us. The perils you faced were undeniably great, yet a part of me believes I had no cause to fear. And now we can put paid to our long investigation. As you suspected, the Amalja undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning the primal Ifrit. Nor is the tale limited to Ul'dah. Similar incidents have been rife through both Limsa, Limansa, and Gridania of late. I dare say you've been curious on how do these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume an ether if they are to maintain their presence here, and the stronger they become, the more ether they require. Now, ether exists throughout creation, flows through all life, and permeates the very air that we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the lights of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind will require a more concentrated source of ether, crystals. It is for this reason the incidents involving crystals can often be traced back to the primal. Which leads us to the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great river of ether. However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to the gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries serve as a beacon toward the primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together, or an etheric coalescence, which grants the being's physical form. Once born, the primal gains strength through his followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful the gods become. But the primals are seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give. In order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which you yourself are subjected. Yet even as Ifrit took your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess, the Echo. We know not the why of it, but those of us with the Echo are immune to the primal influence. It is as though a greater power protects us. When you first came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why. Recent incidents all share a common trait, meticulous planning. Such elaborate designs are a new development, and one which fills me with an unshakable sense of foreboding. While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of your relief at your safe return. The immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so you need not concern yourself with that. You may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Rathima. You may be sure it won't last long. Once the people learn the identity of the hero who felled Ifrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself. Whether she intended to or no, Mephilia neglected to tell you something. Something I think it would best you heard from one of us. It concerns the tempered abductees that were rescued. I'm sorry to report that all are to be put to death. The flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse. Once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal whom we cannot choose but worship. And so we silence continue to fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Rathima. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Fem General for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Oh, gods forgive me. How many more lives? Louisa would never have allowed this to happen. I have to do better. I have to be stronger. Until not so very long ago, you were but one of many adventurers seeking to make their way through in Eorzea. But for your character and courage, you were raised to the esteemed post of envoy. Thereafter, you traveled the realm, aiding those in need without thought of reward, confirming to Ishtola and the Scions who would benefit from your aid. And no sooner had you joined us than you personally bested the primal Ifrit. You've achieved a great deal in a short time, and won fame in so doing. Alas, fame does not come without a price, as you will soon discover. We have guests, Rathima. Or rather, you have guests. McBroddens? Ah, Lady Mephilia. Radiant as always. I'm given to understand the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limbs Limited, to offer said hero a place of honor within our ranks. As you can see, Rathima, your recent exploits have garnered you the attention of the Grand Companies of Eorzea. Each organization would have Ifrit's bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. They would not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit. What they have is evidence of the high regard of you. I find myself wondering how the word of Rathima's deeds spread so quickly, and the immortal flames should know that for triumphs is to be expected. But what of the other Grand Companies? Your reputation precedes you, Mrs. Wol. There's no ordinary woman who can face a primal and emerge a victor. The Order of the Toiling Adder has need of valiant women such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelves Wood. What a pleasure to finally meet you. It is to finally meet you, Mistress Wol. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. Women of your talent belongs with the immortal flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure a prosperous future for Ul'dah. The Admiral was not exaggerating when she said you have the look of a hero. For often does she speak of you, friend. As do many others in Limsa. Long before the rest of the Eorzea took note, your name was well known to us, owing to your valorous deeds on behalf of our citizens. It's only natural that we should want you for the Maelstrom. Join your strength to ours, and together let us see the grand vessel of Limsa to the shores of glory. Lady Mephilia. Very well. Though I'm quite sure you need no reminding, perhaps a brief summary of the situation would help you clarify your thoughts on the matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all-encompassing organizations empowered to call upon the martial, economic, and technological resources of the respective city-states in times of strife. There are presently 3 such organizations in Eorzea: the Maelstrom of the Limsa, the Order of the Twin Adder of Gordania, and the Immortal Flames of Ul'dah. Serving a Grand Company means serving the nation to which it belongs. You'll be charged with its defense and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you will be furnished with various rewards, some of which may well prove useful to you in your other endeavors. If you are agonizing which of the Grand Companies best deserve your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you are entitled to do so. And yet, I consider this is no small choice what you face. A thought occurs to me. You will, of course, recall that the 3 city-states are planning to hold a remembrance services. Well, as part of their proceedings, I am given to understand that the leader of each Grand Company will deliver an address. Hearing these addresses ought to help you make an informed decision. What say you, my dear officers? A fine suggestion. You're wise as you're beautiful, my lady. Very well. Let Rathima hear our leader speak and then return here with their decision. We eagerly wait your answer. I know full well that adventurers are by their nature a liberty-loving breed, and not best suited for the discipline of military service. But I strongly urge you to join a Grand Company nonetheless. With all the promise of reward is enticing itself, it is not the only benefit. You possess of great power with you, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. Yet know that great powers want to attract attention, not all of it friendly. There will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet however vigilant you are but one woman. In the midst of a Grand Company, however, you will be one woman amongst many. A friend amongst friends. Your achievements will be shared, and so will their danger. I can think of no better arrangement. Of course, joining an organization need not meaning leaving another. I hope that we will continue to rely upon your aid. The 12 know that we will have need in the days to come. Grand companies seek to protect their own nations. The Science, on the other hand, seeks to preserve the future of Eorzea as a whole. Similar, yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect you to be afield more often in the future. As such, I would have you carry this limp bow with you at all times. It will allow you to stay in touch regardless of location. Eorzea is changing, Rathima, and you have the power to help shape it anew. None can say what the morrow will bring, but so long as we believe in ourselves, we cannot achieve. Now it is time you made ready for your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak with Tataru. She will apprise you as to where and when the remembrance services are due to take place. sorry about all the attention you're getting. I might have sung your praises a little too loudly and often to too many people. Next time, I'll be sure to hold my tongue, literally if necessary. Anyway, I expect you don't want to know when the Reborn services are taking place. If all goes to plan, Gudani's Grand Company, the Order of the Ten Adder, will hold the first of the 3 services. An elder Sincere Kanai Sena will deliver her address at Mikado's amphitheater. She probably mentioned at this point, due to the organizational challenges involving assembling all of the involved parties, it's possible the order of the services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gudani your first protocol. Next, we need to go to Old Dog, where the Flame General Raban will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, it's rumored that to be a special guest. How exciting! Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom Lisa Lamenta, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Ralph Bofishwin will be giving her address. The room is accessible for the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the sentries and the and he'll remain. Got all that? Well, if you go then, you'll find the member services too to be educational. Suggest visiting the city-states in prescribed order, though with your record of impeccable timing luck, the schedule may well change in favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanamo herself!
And Reborn as well!
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore! Hurrah! Reborn! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Nalthal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden, and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us, The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Uldar stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you! Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Uldar, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Uldar. As Uldar prospers, so shall her people.
Ya for Uldar!
Together we are one.
Your Grace.
Raubon? People of Uldar, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Uldar. Yet those who measured that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Uldar, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the Inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn! Forsooth?
The time is now!
If you'll permit me, Alfie no. And my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
The Uldans have long history of conflict with the Amalja, a beast tribe that worship the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you've encountered them. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to clash it. So they have dealt with the Ifrit this far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though have been quieter these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Ulda has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultan's coffers are boundless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It is observed that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldans send their forces to smite the primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is brought with blood. It is a war of attrition they cannot well sustain. Small wonder then that the Immortal Flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventure of your experience would be most welcome addition to the ranks.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The three Seed Seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body. Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seed Seer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children!
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
For all
forest.
the elementals!
Fancy meeting you again.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have contend with two beast tribes. The XIV are unquestionably the more troublesome, being a naturally warlike disposition. They want to summon the bloodthirsty primal Garuda. Silves, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians, until recently at last. Alas, they have grown aloof, a change observed on roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramu. Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. Though they clash with the XIV ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though no one wonders how long it will be before it is broken. Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. People are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elementals, will put an end to the wars. Yet how long will it take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the XIV will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to an all-out war. And when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? Here to attend the remembrance service. Be quick. The Admiral's due to give her address any moment.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Hurrah! Yeah! Ah! Ha-ha! Yeah! Ha!
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilfir's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now, the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well. A crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Melvin!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
Fancy meeting you again.
As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Linstone Limited is plagued by two beast tribes. First are the fish like Sahagin, who worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence were troublesome enough, the Guardians have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Limencians' backyard. And that is to say, not of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions. And while they fight amongst themselves, the Guardians whet their blades and watch. If the Limencians ever to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect they will make soon a decisive action against the beast tribes. Marked by words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched in a deeper shade of crimson and law. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. But will you sail with the Admiral? Rathima, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the formal remembrance service has now concluded? A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember a guest from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted as though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, we're not due to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. Short, hurry back. Welcome back, Rathima. Were the Grand Company's leader's words as illuminating as you'd hoped? Aye, each nation is beset with problems. Trust you see now why your services are such demand. Would that there were more of you. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect on the decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies. As though the Calamity and 7th Umbral era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alize, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them.
That Rogan is drunk.
Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the 7th Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience. There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I need to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
My lady!
We are to escort you!
Hope does not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
Welcome back, adventurer. Taking General Bond's word, kindled a fire within you. Excellent. Fear the incident with the traitor may have soured your opinion of us. Gladdens me to see that it isn't the case. Before we can count you as one of our own, we must be formally inducted into our ranks. Please proceed to the Hall of Flames at Old Oz Merchant Strip and then notify yourself to the personnel officer. We'll notify him of your coming. With your strength joined to ours, we shall surely prevail over our enemies, be they beastmen or Imperials. What brings you to the Hall of Flames this evening, adventurer? My name is Rathima Wol. I believe you are expecting me. Ah, as I thought as much. You are just as our man at the Waking Stand has described. It is an honor to meet you, madam. Now, in order to formalize your... Sir! Speak, Private. Burial, sir. They fired on a Highwind Skyway ship. Scouts say she's coming down to the west near Horizon's edge. Bloody hells. Of all the times for this to happen. Rathima, there's no time for formalities. The Immortal Flames need your help now. We're in the midst of a large-scale operation against the Almalja, and we have no one to spare against the Western Downline. We must get to that ship before the Gaulians do. If there are any survivors, see to they do not come to further harm. Now go.
Okay.